First thing we're going to do is to grade our ecology test module 10. So if you don't have that out already, please get that out quietly. And we'll go ahead and start. Xander, why don't you start us today, sweetheart, and tell us what you put for ecosystem.
An association of living organisms and the physical environment.
Okay, so it's the living things and where they live. Thank you very much. How about biomass, please, sir?
Measurement of the dry mass of an organism within an area.
Good, thank you. Yes, sir?
I said that, but I didn't say area.
Don't, okay, that's fine. Did you say in a place?
Okay.
Something?
I just said organism, in an organism.
Biomass. Okay. So you should know that it's in a particular place, a particular, space. And guys, I'm a little concerned because I've heard this in the other class too. Some of your definitions are exactly his words, and that concerns me because you're not going to remember that in 2 weeks. You memorize it for the test, you spit it out, word for word, and then in 2 weeks you don't remember what you have because they were his words and you're never going to see them again. That concerns me because you will be taking tests that you need this information on. Trust me. It would stick with you better if you made this in your own words, 2 or 3 or 4 words, as short as possible. So I appreciate that you're trying to memorize to do a good job, but I'm afraid for you. Because I'm afraid in the long run you're cutting yourself off from what the benefit you should get from this class. So I would really suggest you guys come up with short definitions that are your own, because then when you see this stuff in 3 or 4 years, you might have a hope of remembering what you memorized. And this will show up on tests. Scary, but it's true. Okay? When you have to take standardized tests, that's where you're going to end up, some of this stuff will come up. Okay? So I just want to throw that out to you. All right. Thank you very much. Daniel, would you do C for us, please? Watershed?
I'd put where the water goes after rain into a body of water.
Good. Very good. Thank you. Transpiration. Oh, you had something on watershed?
Yeah, I put water that runs off the land and eventually joins the main body.
That works for me. Good job. Can you tell me what transpiration is now, Josh?
Yes, water that evaporates from plant leaves.
Good, good. Anything about evaporation from a plant? Good. That's a good one. All right, Isaac, how about the greenhouse effect?
It's the process where gases trap heat in our atmosphere.
Exactly right. The gases in our atmosphere are able to catch the heat. Thank you very much.
Keeps warmth in.
Yeah, it keeps warmth in. Yes, sir. Okay, and then, yes, sir.
Put catches heat and then distributes it accordingly.
That'll work. But it is the whole catching heat thing. Good. Thank you. Okay, and then Jonathan, would you, the next questions are going to, questions 2 through 4, we're going to refer to this food web. So Jonathan, would you read number 2 for us, please?
What is the most likely consequence of removing the snake and raccoon from this ecosystem? Lots of frogs.
I love it. Lots of frogs. You're going to get lots of frogs because you're taking away the predators.
That's why I put no predators for the frogs.
Good.
Wouldn't there be more praying mantises too?
Let me look.
There would be less praying mantises.
Yeah, if you...
Less mantises, less scratches.
Yeah, because of more frogs. Good, very good. I'm just trying to figure out how his answer treats that as 2 answers at 8 points. And he doesn't ask for 2 answers, so I'm having trouble with the way he's got this scored. Well, he says he wants you to see, okay, in his reckoning, each problem on the test is worth 4 points, okay? So he's counting that as 8 points because he wants you to say, one answer he wants you to say that it throws off the ecosystem some way, somehow saying that, and one answer he wants you to mention the frogs. Okay. Did everybody mention the frogs?
Yeah.
Okay. If you mentioned the frogs, it was worth 8 points to you because I don't see how you were to know to mention something else. He didn't ask for anything else. Okay, so that goes for you people at home too. I mean, if you didn't ask for it, I don't understand how you're supposed to know how to do that. So let's, and I say that because there might be somebody's mom at home that's trying to grade your tests and they look at it and go, well, you didn't have the other thing. Well, he didn't ask for the other thing. So we're only going to count that as one answer. If you mention the frogs, that's great. If you mention something else, that's great too. Okay? All right, we'll leave it at that. Thank you. Well, we up to, you did that one. So Mikayla, would you read the next one for us, please?
What are the possible trouble levels of
Very good. He's tertiary and secondary. Very good. Thank you. And how about number 4, Zach?
Would it be possible to draw the levels of a raccoon, primary and tertiary?
Good. Primary and tertiary. I did have a student that also said primary, secondary, and tertiary. And if you just added that one, that's fine. But you definitely need to have the primary and tertiary.
I just put primary and secondary.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. Did you only put secondary?
No, I put primary and tertiary, but where is it secondary?
Well, let's look. Let's see. It's number 4. We're looking at the possible trophic levels for the raccoon. So let's go to the coon. If he eats the frog that eats the praying mantis that eats the plant, that's tertiary. If he eats the plant, that's primary. He can eat the praying mantis, but the praying mantis, it says, eats the butterfly. Wow. Which makes him... But that's probably where you guys got the secondary, isn't it, by him eating the praying mantis? Just leave it. If you put primary and either secondary or tertiary, that's fine. I see what you're saying, Josh, but I also see that actually if we were being nitpicky, we could say he's really not tertiary, he's quaternary, because it went back, more, so I don't want to go there. So let's just leave it primary, and if you had secondary or tertiary, that'll be fine. Thank you very much. He was looking for primary and tertiary, for those of you that did answer that way. Okay, on number 5, if you will read that, I will draw up here.
Draw an ecological pyramid of an ecosystem that has twice as much biomass in producers as there is in primary consumers, twice as much biomass in primary consumers as there is in secondary consumers, and twice as much biomass in secondary consumers as there is in tertiary.
Thank you. It should look something like stacked blocks, okay? And they should be something like, notice this one should be about half of this one, and this should be about half of that one, and this should be about half of that one. Something like that. Okay? This is not art. So, but if you got that general idea, we're in good shape. Thank you very much, Josh. Aren't you glad you didn't have to come up and draw it? Hannah, would you read the next one, please?
That we were in the mountain module in which we discussed the role of each participant. The clownfish and the anemone, like the clownfish provides food and the anemone provides protection.
Good, and you can just do one. So she said the clownfish provides like a lure or bait, so he provides food by luring in other fish, and the anemone provides protection, or you could have said they provide protection for each other, because we did talk about that in class, and it was in the book. So you could have gone either way with that.
Does a clownfish eat that fish too, or does just
No.
So what does that eat?
The clownfish? I'm not sure what clownfish eat. That's a good question. They just starve. It's a fasting fish. I don't know. And I don't say other fish because there are fish that live on coral reefs that eat coral. So I'm not sure what clownfish eat, honestly. Okay then. She did the clownfish and the sea anemone. What did you put?
I put the gobi and the blind shrimp.
Okay, the gobi and the blind shrimp. And what does the gobi do?
Gobi, sorry.
It's okay. What does the gobi do for the blind shrimp?
It like watches out when it makes it.
Good. It's like a watch fish, right? Yeah. So it watches out for him. And then what does the shrimp do for the gobi?
It just makes a home.
Good. It makes a home and a hole for it. Exactly right. Did anybody do the other one? Which was?
The sweet lips and the blue one.
Good. The wrasse?
Yes.
Very good. And what does the wrasse do for the sweet lips?
It gets the food off the teeth.
Good. It cleans its teeth. And what does the sweet lips do for the wrasse?
It gets the teeth. One eats the food off the teeth, and one gets the teeth cleaned.
Good. Very good. So the sweet lips get his teeth cleaned, and the wrasse gets dinner in the process of cleaning the teeth. Very good. Thank you. Have you guys ever seen those cowbirds out on cows? I always call them cowbirds because they sit on cows. Those white birds that sit on the cows? I don't know what they're called. You know what I'm talking about. Those birds eat the bugs off of the cows. So the cow gets a cleaning from parasites, and the bird gets dinner. It's one of those. Okay, so anyway, gross. No, it works. Everybody's happy if you're a cow or the bird, you know. So you needed to have 2 of those 3 that were mentioned in the book to get full credit for that one. And you needed to not only mention their names, but you had to at least very briefly say what they do for one another. Okay? Good, thank you. What'd you do the next one, DJ?
The stream flowing from the watershed has a algal bloom caused by too many nutrients in the water. What is the most likely explanation for this? What was there's a lack of plant life in the watershed.
Good, good. You could have written deforestation, something about there's not enough plants, and so the water runs off without getting caught in the plants, and it carries with it too many nutrients, and that's what causes these algal blooms.
What about if you wrote there was farmland developed around the river and it had lots of runoff?
I would accept that, because that's true.
I put farms draining all the unused stuff into
The farm, you went with the farm? Yeah, if you guys went with the farm, because we discussed that, how the farms in those areas have actually, made it so that there's extra nutrients running off into there, that is an acceptable answer, because we did discuss that last week. Yes, sir?
I put something about deforestation, but I also said there was an increase in primary consumers. So
We're going to ignore that part. Go with the deforestation part. Okay, sounds good. All right. Ryan, would you do the next one for us, please?
Does photosynthesis add oxygen to the air or remove it? It adds oxygen.
Very good. It adds it. Thank you. Jordan, would you do number 9 for us, please?
Besides photosynthesis, how is carbon dioxide removed from the air? By dissolving in the ocean?
Yes, it dissolves in the ocean, and that's how shellfish are able to actually make their shells. Yes, sir?
I couldn't think of dissolving, so I said draining over water.
Okay, you put that it was going into the water. That's fine. Okay. Christina, would you do number 10, please?
If surface runoff did not occur in the water cycle of an ocean shore ecosystem, what would happen to the ocean? It would rise.
It would dry up, actually. Yeah, it would not get water, and eventually it would dry up if it didn't get the water coming back in. Thank you. Tim?
Explain this statement. The greenhouse effect is a good thing, but global warming is too much of a good thing. And it's like saying that the greenhouse effect keeps the earth warm, but global warming is when there's too many greenhouse gases and it gets to warm the earth really warm.
Good, good. So the greenhouse effect itself is a good thing. Without it, we wouldn't be able to live on planet Earth. But if you have too much of that, then it could cause global warming, and that's what they're talking about.
I said they believe that warming's good, but it's too fast, happening too fast, so that's bad.
Okay, well, that's like talking about the too much. That's good. So if you mention something about that the greenhouse effect is good, but the global warming is the idea that there's too much of it or too fast, then that's fine. So, Michael, you got the easiest answer on the test. Is global warming occurring today?
No, I'm kidding.
It's no. He's looking for no, but I want to qualify this, particularly because there might be people at home. If you answered yes, and you answered yes because we have a 1-degree change over the last 100 years, I will accept the answer yes. Okay. Is it happening like they're trying to tell us? No. It's not happening like we're being sold a bill of goods that it's, destroying the earth. Okay, but if you're one of those really stickler people that said, but wait a minute, it's increasing by 1 degree Celsius over the last 100 years, and that was your reasoning, I will accept a yes in that case. Yes, sir?
I wrote that maybe human-caused global warming is not.
Oh, I like his answer. John said maybe, but human-caused global warming is not. That's a good answer, John. I like that answer. Yes, sir?
Say a little bit in certain pockets of the world, but nothing significant.
That's a good answer too. Good. He said it's happening in little pockets of the world, but not globally. Because remember, we talked about some people think it is because in their particular city or where they live it's getting warmer, but that doesn't count for the whole world, and so it gives people the wrong impression. Yes, sir?
I said kinda, but not really.
Okay. DJ, were you talking about what we were talking about?
Let's hope.
Okay. Okay, well, if that's what you meant, that's fine. It's really good when you guys are not sure on something like that. Maybe write a little more so I can tell.
No, I said no. I just said no.
You said no? Okay, you're just picking on me. All right. If you explained your answer, and it was like Kobe's answer was something we talked about, it was in the book, John's answer was something we talked about that's in the book. If you supported your answer, especially on these yes and no questions, if you supported your answer with evidence that we used from the book, then it's right, okay, or from our discussion. Because obviously my discussion sometimes doesn't agree with the book. So, and guess what? The teacher gets to decide, just like your mom and dad gets to decide. I know, and I know my husband's always saying that to my daughter, my youngest daughter. He goes, I'm the teacher. It's my decision. And I'm going, yeah, he likes homeschooling. Okay. So, anyway, all right, let's finish it up. So would you do 13 for us, please?
What do nitrogen-fixing bacteria provide to other organisms? Do they provide it directly to producers or consumers? It provides nitrogen for producers.
Good. It provides nitrogen for producers. I also heard some people say this week it provides molecules that are reactive, which is true. They are reactive nitrogens. So if you put something about it provides nitrogens that are reactive or molecules that are reactive, that would be fine also. What else we have, Josh?
Don't they put it back in the nitrogen gas?
They actually take the nitrogen gas and make it in a more reactive form.
Okay.
Okay? Yes, sir?
Active nitrogen that other organisms can use.
Just right. Active nitrogen, that's good.
I wrote down the nitrates,
Oh, you gave the specifics. That's just right, too. Nitrates, nitrites, and ammonia would be a correct answer. Yes?
It produces an active molecule.
That's good. It is an active molecule. It's actually reactive, but you haven't had chemistry yet. And so it's active in the sense that it actually can react with something else. Those are good answers. Okay, so I already said that they're 4 points apiece. That means everything's 4 points. 4 points for each of the vocabulary. On number 6, there was 4 points for naming each of the pairs, and then 4 more points for telling what they did for each other. So that problem's worth 16 points. Hopefully everybody wrote out stuff there. He gave 4 points for on number 3 for secondary consumer, 4 points for tertiary consumer. On number 4, you got 4 points for each of your answers there. So if you only wrote primary consumer on number 4, you have to take off 4 points, is what I'm saying. Okay, so you needed to have the 2 answers there. I think that's it. You got 4 points each for the answers on number 13. And remember, always add up what you missed and subtract that from 100. All right, we in good shape? Okay, let's go ahead and put that away.